Hi everybody, Greg Friel here at the Friel Thing podcast. I have an extraordinary human being who's my guest. Sorry, I'm trying to be serious. Who's my guest today, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only Victoria Nicol. Yay!
Hi, Greg.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. It's a lovely sunny Friday morning here in Glasgow city centre where the offices are based. So I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Excellent. Fantastic. I've been trying to get you on my podcast for about 4 years, and I'm not going to say I've been offended that you've been kind of ignoring my emails and just generally kind of ducking and diving and making it not happen. But the fact that we finally got around to doing this, I'm delighted. So thank you very much for joining me and sparing the time.
Of course, and thank you very much for having me.
See, you gave the professional response when I just slagged you. That's fine. Anyway, so for the folks at home, a quick 30 seconds on who you are and what it is that you do, Victoria. Go.
Yeah, sure. So thank you. I'm Victoria Nicol. I'm the founder and managing director of My Language Connection, and we're a global technical translation agency. So we have clients worldwide, and what it is we do is we help our clients expand globally with our technical translation services completed by our native degree educated qualified translators. So we've got a small team here in the heart of Glasgow that we run the operation from here. And yeah, we generally just continue to help clients expand and move further afield, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's been amazing over the past year because obviously I stalk you on social media and annoy you on a regular basis. Is the fact that you've just been going from strength to strength, and you get new staff and you changed offices and all sorts of stuff. Tell us about how things have been going over the past year or so.
Yeah, sure. So it's been really interesting the past year. I think like every other business this time last year, everyone took a bit of a hit and things got very quiet and everyone was a bit in panic mode about, okay, how are things going to move forward? How is business is going to continue? We very much, Greg, serve like a range of different industries. So we are big within medtech and pharma. We serve some engineering and construction clients, industrial manufacturing, and anyone that exports. So pretty much overnight, a lot of our clients who had distribution chains into China, out of China, and into Europe sort of shut down and nobody really knew what was going on. So we were doing really well and there was a lot of sales projects going on in February, just before the pandemic hit, February of last year. And then I came back just the week before, actually. I came back from California the week before the world sort of America shut its borders and the world went into this pandemic state. And then it was tumbleweed for a while and very much, until everybody started to figure things out. But the fortunate thing about us is we were big in some industries and we really saw like medtech, biopharma continue to grow. And as such, we continued to do a lot of translations for them. So a lot of translation of instructions for use. A lot of things were put on hold, mind you, like a lot of the clinical bodies were focused on the fight against COVID and trying to get us out of this pandemic. So we couldn't really our clients couldn't go through the same approval processes that they would normally go through. So devices were delayed in going into market. But what we found is there was a lot of demand at the clinical trial stage. And that was for like patient information, patient consent forms, all of the pre-clinical trial documents. There was quite a strong requirement there for us. So we did a lot of work there. So that was a big market. So we continued serving well there. And what we did is we really just focused on looking after our main clients at that point. We looked at, okay, first of all, how can we better serve our main clients? What can we be doing? It gave us the opportunity to look at things like where else can we be adding value and really have the chance to catch up and understand what's going on. Which saw for one of our main medtech clients sharing with us that they were going to be moving into the Baltics. So we were then putting plans in place as to, okay, this is the beginning of their strategic goal for moving further into the Baltics. How can we help support them there? And so that was, a lot of planning went into that stage. But All the while we looked at things like we do a lot of work with our marketing company, and they look at like how do we look at the new business, how do we generate more new business and things like that. So we completely redeveloped and like re-strategized like where we should be going with the new business campaigns as well, based on how we saw like the market reacting, and we saw the sort of opportunities within medtech, and we knew that's where we were strong and what we're good at. So we continued to grow there. What we decided to do during the pandemic was, as opposed to use the furlough scheme and take advantage of that, we thought, let's grow. Let's take on some staff, some qualified people, within the operations side of things, so we can start looking at really building like the structure of the core team in the business and add more skills there. So when we get out of this, which we always knew that we would, then we've got like a really strong, trained, experienced team there that can further help growth as well. And that's what we did. So instead of using things like furlough, we decided to take on more people. And it was, some things worked, some things didn't work, and we just sort of kept on going during COVID, and we kept on looking at new opportunities, new ways in which we can continue to grow. That was then hiring new people, new experience, operations and sales staff to come join the team. And now some of the guys are an essential, critical part of this team.
Yeah.
And we also looked at, okay, well, where can we continue to develop the existing business with our existing clients? What more can we be doing there? Equally, how can then we work with our marketing team to really maximise and make sure that the new business campaigns are positioned correctly for driving in the new business? And now we're sort of at a stage where we've just continued to do that, and a year on, we've doubled headcount, payroll's doubled, and right now we had the best sales quarter we've seen last year. So, and we're on track for the business growth plans that we've set as well. And there's some really cool people applying to join the team as well. And we've got some great team members that are making it all happen with some excellent clients. Like 100%, a big part of what we've done as well, Greg, is really looked at our main clients and what more can we be doing. And that's been a huge part of our growth as well, is just our clients continued to trust us during the pandemic, and they continued to support us as well. So it's been awesome.
Thanks very much for joining me today.
It's been 100%
that was
hard
really
work.
Good, thanks. I thought you were going to be stuck for things to say. I'm kind of like, right, okay. Fine, great, you're killing it. I get it.
Like information overload.
So in terms of, you're saying, working with your marketing company in terms of planning ahead. So what really was the strategy there? What were your routes to market, as it were? What did you adjust and do differently, and then how did people then find you?
Yeah, of course. So what we adjusted and we did differently, we did a bit more of a LinkedIn outreach as well. So we started looking at who's already our clients. So we profiled our main clients, and we looked at, okay, who is buying translation right now? Who has a demand for translation? And then what we did was we started to use LinkedIn more to connect with similar client types, to then look to see if, okay, is this something that we can help them with as well? So we've always looked at, okay, what areas do we see our sales from? Do we see our sales coming in from? What areas do we see our clients come back time and time again? And we knew during the pandemic, Greg, that medtech and pharma was going to be a growing area, and we'd already started positioning ourselves there at the end of 2018 because of there's changes in legislation around something called IVDR and MDR, and that means that any medtech company, they have to have their instructions for use. You know how you've got your Fitbit, and you've got something like an instructions for use. So a lot of biotech companies have their devices, they have their instructions for use accompanying their devices. You can't distribute into Europe without having it translated into the native tongue of your customers. So we always knew that was a market there, and we sort of knew things were changing because of COVID, but we also knew that it'd be a good opportunity.
What about Brexit?
I would say, well, Brexit was a bit of a pain at the end of 2019. Certainly things where, for us, at the end of 2019, it did affect business. But this year, just now, we can see Brexit's Brexit's happened. We're navigating the changes of Brexit just now.
Is
There's
it just a
actually
case
quite
of
a
just kind
big
of get on with it and just kind of work around it?
get on with it, but there's also quite a lot of opportunities for translation agencies as well, in the sense that there's a lot of recertifications happening because you need a new type of certification to, if you're UK distributing and exporting into Europe. That's for things for the industrial manufacturing, for chemical manufacturing, again for biotech, pharma. There's a big demand just now to have your safety data sheets, product data sheets, anything that's sort of like the operations and how to handle these chemicals and heavy machinery and such like. They have to be retranslated because of the change in legislation that Brexit has brought about. So some industries we're not as prevalent in just now. There's not as much of a need for translation. Maybe more so within construction and things like that because they don't know how Brexit's going to impact.
Yeah.
But you've got other industries that still need translation and that still need to do this recertification, Greg. So
I think this is the thing that
Brexit
I've always
was
been
a bit of an inconvenience, certainly at the end of 2019.
A bit of an inconvenience, yeah. This is the thing that I've always been impressed by with you, Victoria, though, is that you're somebody who always looks for opportunities. And it's not obstacles. It's like, this is happening, okay, that's happening, but we're going to react a certain way and we're going to do this, and always looking for the opportunity, not thinking that this is going to hinder your business in any way. It's like, what are we going to do to use this to our advantage? How much would you say that your business mindset is important to your business success?
I certainly do think that has a factor in it. I certainly do think you have to, as a business owner, and if you're focused on growing a company, you have to have a mindset where you're always focused on the opportunities, no matter what the external factors bring about that you can't control. So we can't control the pandemic, we can't control Brexit, but what we can control is how we react to that as a business and as like individuals within the business. And so I've always been really focused on keeping myself thinking like that and having that mindset, and also encouraging that with the team, like 100%. Like they've all got really positive mindsets as well. Like everything is they can work out a solution. And that's very much something that I encourage as well, like with the guys, like to always look at what solutions can they think of. Yes, this is a problem, but how can we spot the opportunities? So I definitely think that is a big factor. But also I would say that a big factor in this agency growing is successfully as what it is right now is probably the fact that we are spread across different industries. So if you do have something like the Brexit and pandemic coming about and having an impact on operations, it's like, well, we spread enough risk across enough industries that we can look for the opportunities within there, as opposed to just looking at one industry. I mean, if you were just looking at, say, construction engineering and Brexit came about and you were serving translation for translating health and safety documents, toolbox talks, they don't know what they're doing with their contractors. They're European contractors at that time. So they're going to put pause in things. Therefore, there won't be a spend for translation. So what you do is you then focus on, okay, what other industries are we serving well, and where are our sales coming from, and where is our repeat business? So we then move there. So I think that it's certainly mindset plays a really big part in it, and always looking at the opportunities. But I would also say that, looking at having a business where you look at several different industries and spread the risk. I mean, focus on what you're good at. We're good at technical translation, and we have a really great service, like a really personable service that's specifically for our clients, and we do that really, really well. And we're really solutions driven, so brilliant. That's what we're good at. And then focus on using that and serving that way across different industries, so you're spreading the risk. So I think it's sort of looking at, mindset does contribute to it, but then also how can you sort of be sensible with the way that you structure your company. Certainly.
Is that part of the hiring process for you? Whenever you're hiring somebody, are you kind of like,
Yeah, definitely. So part of the hiring process, what we do is we look at, has the candidate had an experience across different industries, different roles, because that's the type of person that we want to hire. We want to hire people that have had a range of experience within different sectors that we serve. So they have built up that sort of skill set. And we do like personality testing as well.
Right. Okay.
So we're always looking for like different, like certain personality types that is in line with our personality type and the way that we work as a company, which is it is, optimistic mindset, solutions driven. And so what part of the process when we are hiring is we carry out these assessments, and the questions are very much tailored around that as well. It's about like, how would you deal with certain challenges? Like, give us some real life examples across the industries that you've worked in. And that's how we then get to the right candidate and the sort of final hiring decision.
So I'm thinking back to the day that I met you, which was at Angela McKillop's book launch, and it's really quite funny how the tables have turned. It's like I just didn't show up, and I can't get a word in edgeways here, which is great because you were kind of like and I was like, yep, I don't know, like I must have been on like several cups of coffee at least that day. But I think that the thing that's been, amazing for me to watch is, the growth of the business, but how you've changed as well. And just like, and your confidence has just really, really grown massively. I remember when you were first doing like, I think it was one of your first ever public talks, and you were just like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And you were just like super, super nervous about it. And then like fast forward about a year, and then I saw you, and then you just kind of like, yes. And so now we're just kind of taking over the planet. And I was like, all right, she's changed, But yeah, I mean, I think this is the thing, whenever you have that kind of mindset that you have, and it's a part of everything that you do. It's not just, your work. It's part of, your daily life, your routine. You're a big fitness person. You're one of these crazy people that gets up at stupid o'clock in the morning, and and it's like, I've just done 10K before 6 o'clock or some shit like that. But and I'm always like, why, But how important is that? Having that attitude across all areas of life. To you, how important is that?
Definitely. I think having that mindset, like in fitness, where you're always like driving to get like a PB, or you're driving to continuously like build up your strength and like push yourself through those boundaries, that's certainly transferable like into business. So yeah, I go into the gym and my goal is to, in a way, like sensibly work on progressively lifting heavier or running a bit more. So I think that certainly does transfer into business. What I would say though, recently what I did learn is like, it's great to push yourself to the absolute extremes. It's brilliant to do that, but it's not sustainable like long term. Like, no. So that's with like fitness, and that's with business as well. Like, that's something that I've really learned this past year. And so I would say that that's come from the fact that like I've had a lot of injuries, like from running and from weight training, which meant that I've had to like do rehabilitation again before building up strength to get to like, I'm back to sort of deadlifting a bit heavier and things. So I've had to sort of dial it back to sort the injuries to then move forward again. And I think business is very much the same.
Yeah.
It's like, if you really push yourself, you will burn out. It's not realistic. So it's more realistic to set stints of like, okay, let's work to one goal over a period of a few months. And then what we do is we look at assessing that. Okay, how have we improved? What areas have we improved in? Do we need to dial back in any other areas and focus on other areas and work on growing those before we then look at like the next phase of growth? So it's very much similar to how I train like in the gym for like running and weight training. But yeah, I absolutely love my weight training.
I know you do.
So, I think it all relates.
I remember it's actually really quite interesting because obviously my whole thing is social media and seeing what people post on different platforms, and it should be different. It should be, this is one area of my life and this is another area of my life. I remember when I first started seeing your post on Instagram, and I had no idea that you did weight training and all this kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, and it was just like totally not what I thought. And now I'm just officially scared of you because like you can like lift like really heavy stuff. You know. Anyway, what else was I going to ask you about? Because I was gonna ask you about your hair, because this is obviously important. You recently,
Yeah, it's so important.
yes, well, it's important to me. Hair's always important. Let's not downplay it. I mean, be as successful as you want to be in your business, but let's talk about hair.
Yeah.
So you recently went blonde. When was that?
Oh God.
A few months ago?
That was just before we went into lockdown.
Right.
It was. So it was. I think everybody was making crazy decisions
was
before they
this
went into that first
like
lockdown.
California, and then because you're in California, West Coast?
No, it was
No?
genuinely came back from Cali, and then
Cali.
it was a
Okay,
case
let's call it
of
Cali.
let's call it Cali.
Right.
So I came back from California, and we were about to hit into a pandemic, and I think a lot of females at that time made decisions about, I need to get my hair done, need to change things up.
What do you mean
It was
females?
a way of maybe it was well, not just females, of course, everybody, males and females. I think it was a bit of a coping mechanism, to be honest, Greg. Change things up. Mix it up a little bit before we go into this pandemic, and then I went part blonde, and I liked it, and just I've
Had you been blonde before?
kept it on since then. When I was 14, I decided to box dye my hair myself with blonde, and that didn't work. Maybe we can like cut in like the 14-year-old me at some point.
Send me that picture. I'll put that in. Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's humiliate you. But yeah, I'd actually just got my hair done about maybe 2 weeks before the first lockdown. So my hair was actually all right up until about
it's looking good.
Up until about July. Thank you. But then I did get it done at various points whenever we did sort of come out of lockdown briefly. But then the last time I got it done was like December, and I was like, then obviously recently I was like, I actually really quite like having it longer. And speaking of California, I was just going, I'm just gonna go full on surfer dude.
You want a California vibe?
That's it. And I've actually had a wee bit off,
it's working.
but it is actually still it's still really quite long, but like mega blonde. Anyway, serious business discussion.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Like, I think it makes such a difference to like just focusing on your hair. It makes a difference.
I think now this is serious. I mean, I know we're talking about hair and being daft.
It's a big decision, isn't it, Greg? When we have to think about what colour shall we go, it's a big decision.
Yeah, but I think the thing is as well, though, it comes down to identity
impacts a lot of things,
and how you view yourself, right? As well. And
it does.
I'm talking about mindset and all that side of things. Like I like to look a certain way, and it makes me feel a certain way. And if that means that I get highlights in my hair when I'm almost 50 years old, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't give a shit.
I love how you told me before we came on this call that you're turning 50 this year, and I'm like, I did not think you were turning 50.
Thank you very much, and thank you for saying that on the podcast.
It must be the highlights, but you look a lot younger.
Thank you very much. It's freaking me out a bit. I mean, I was kind of like at the start of this year, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be 50. So then I was like, goals. I have all this list of goals I need to achieve. And one of them was actually get in the best shape of my life. So I work out every day. And I'm just like totally like, yeah, absolutely. I do not want to be that saggy bastard that's sitting in the corner. I'm just like, no, I'm going to get toned and fit and all that kind of thing. And I've enjoyed that. Like I'll do a Zoom call and then I'll lift weights. I've got like weights sitting there, I'll lift weights. Not Victoria weights, like little silly Greg weights.
The future for My Language Connection. So right now we're really focused on growing the team right now. So we're hiring for some more members of the senior management team. So we're focused on that just now. We're hiring new sales and marketing executives, and we're also focused on, we're just about to welcome a new project manager as well to the team. So we're really focused on building up the core team. And that's going to be a big focus over the next year. So we've got some big growth targets, big revenue targets. We're looking at generating $1 million in sales by the end of 2022. So we're on track currently for that just now. So we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. So we're really good at serving our clients within the sectors that we serve. So we're going to keep on focusing on that. We're going to put more focus on that over the next year, and growing the team just now with the talent that we're onboarding is really going to allow us to do that. We're then going to be focused on, okay, what other areas are we strong in? Which other industries are we strong in? And we're going to continue to grow there. We're also going to put more focus on our tech and developing our tech over the next year too. So that's going to be all of these things. This is all the operational parts that need to fall into place right now to make sure that we can hit and exceed that 1 million in sales. I mean, with the way that we're operating just now, we're on track as it is, but what we want to do is we want to add more skills, more talent and expertise into the team, so we know that our existing clients and new clients are going to be taken care of the way they deserve to be taken care of. So that's what we're really focused on. So yeah, we're just building up all these areas within the company just now. We're building up sales, we're building up client engagement, we're building up operations and projects, we're building up tech just now, and then we're going to be putting a focus more so on tech sort of next year and how we can really leverage that to make things even more efficient for our clients with their technical translation projects, Greg. So that's really the focus over the next year, which is, things are moving really fast, which is great. And it's exciting just now. So it's exciting as well. And we're really excited for how the team's going to expand and grow over the next year.
Amazing. Victoria, mega technical hitches and glitches and God knows it's annoying, but thank you so much for joining me, and I'll edit this to try and make it work. We'll see what happens, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg,
and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been great to speak to you.